Right, today's review, KTM 1290 Super Adventure S, road going version of the massive Super Adventure bike by KTM. Come on Helga. Right, I've got a bit of an insight into these bikes. I've owned several KTMs. I'm on KTM number 5 at the moment, and as far as their big adventure bikes are concerned, I've had a 990 Adventure, which I absolutely loved to pieces and to this day regret selling, and I've also owned an 1190 Adventure R, the 21-inch front wheeled off-road variant of that beast of a bike. Now, I had a bit of a love-hate relationship with that bike. Loved riding it, hated living with it. Right, so where are we going? Well, we're going to go up to Jim Aim in Essex. It's not by a way like this all the way, this just happens to be near my house, so I thought I'd have a go on here first. But yeah, now we're going to go up to the shop, speak to Alistair, see how things are. I've not been up there for a long time. I actually bought my very first ever KTM from them. Bloody hell, 1999 I bought that, so I've been around for a while. Right, let's go and hit the main roads and get up to Essex. See you in a bit. Right, off the motorway. Let's talk about KTMs. Now I've had a pit stop. Well, when I say pit stop, it begins with a P. KTM are a bit of a demon when it comes to big adventure bikes. They've been making them for years, and I think the first ones really hit the scene when Mione had his wonderful success, bless him, rest in peace my man, in the Paris-Dakar rally, sort of back in the early noughties. 2003, the 950 Adventure hit the streets. There were two versions back then. Well, there was a 950 Adventure and then there was a 950S. Basically higher, bigger travel suspension, which really separated it. Apart from that, nothing much else. And then they moved on. They went to 990 Adventure, and you got 990 Adventure S again, and then the 990 Adventure R turned up, which was just the same sort of thing but on steroids, and then they changed it and they went to the 1190 Adventure and the Adventure R. And having owned the 990, I traded it in thinking I was getting a much better deal, and like I said earlier, the 990 Adventure is probably one of the bikes I do regret selling. I wish I still got it now, to be honest. The 1190 was an absolute beast. I mean, it was fast, it handled like it was a 150 odd brake horsepower motocross bike. It was just an absolute hooligan bike on the road. The 21-inch, didn't really feel it on the 990, but I certainly felt the 21-inch front wheel on the 1190. It didn't sort of track as true as the smaller wheels. You can see from this picture, I've got a picture of me on my 990 when I was racing in Belgium in a road rally, and I'd actually swapped it for a set of a 19-inch front and 17-inch rear, and it did make even the 990 handle much better on the road. 1290 now, we're back into 12. I've ridden the previous model 1290, but only briefly, and absolutely loved it. It's bonkers. I mean, I'll put a caveat on this whole test. KTM never really make a sensible bike. Like I said when I tested the Super Duke R last year, even the KTM 125 Super Duke looks like it wants to kill people. So, you know, they don't make a sensible bike. They make riders' bikes. They make bikes to be ridden and ridden. I wouldn't say ridden hard, but they make bikes to be ridden at a pace. Their ethos and DNA is sort of based on this ready to race motto, and I agree with that. I think the KTMs do have that certain edge. Right, hello, well here we are. Well, this brings back memories. I bought my first KTM from Jim Aim back in 1999 when Ben, the young salesman there, was 7 years old. So what I've got today for your delectation is a 1290 Super Adventure S. Now, the old girl's only done 100 miles. I'm the first guy to have a go on test ride on this today, well, since lockdown finished, and they've done a few breaking in miles on it just to get the tyres scrubbed in, so it's done 100 miles. Big thing on this new bike, if you look at the front, we've got the split radiators which are meant to dissipate heat on the radar. Apart from that, restyling lower tanks, all the other fluff. If you want to talk about all the other fluff, all the 6-axis IMUs, all the doodah, the gizmos that you get on these bikes. There's a really good KTM video done by 2 KTM guys. It's about 45 minutes long. It takes you through all the modes, absolutely everything that you need to know. I haven't got time to do that, so if you want to find out about the modes, I'm going to use them today if I can, if I get a chance. But what I'm not going to do is bore the pants off. He's talking about how many Ujima flip gizmos it's got per kilogram. So with running oh dear, what a knob. Well, instantly it feels nice and light. Look at that. From a first impressions point of view, it feels lovely. Turning circle clearly is better than it used to be, because I couldn't have done that on my 1190R, and you couldn't do that on the Super Duke either. That's really smart. Yeah, very nice. Right, I'm going to be cheeky and I'm going to nip out in front of these people and go to the front of these traffic lights. That'll do. Tell you what it does, it feels, compared to my GS, this feels like a bloody toy. Even though it's a 1290cc, 160 best part of brake horsepower motorbike. Classic KTM V-twin tick over when it's cold, it's still a bit high, and it's too fast. It might have all the safety features in the world, the best ABS, the best traction control, radar to stop you hitting things in front, you name it, this bike's got it. 6-dimensional IMU that knows whether you're up, down, backwards, countersunk or respun. No matter which way around you are, the bike knows where it is. But the problem is, it is just fast. Oh dear. What's really funny is I've just looked down there to try and find the indicator switch. I had to look twice. I couldn't figure out which one of these was the indicator. There's so much going on here, it's quite daunting to start with. Anyway, first impression so far, literally minutes into this, and the bike feels so light. Bear in mind it's not light, it's 200 kilos plus, but the way it balanced, the way it sits on the road, it's just nice. What's the turning circle like? Thankfully, it's pretty good. Right, let's get that black visor down, tinted. This feels a really nice place to be. It's got one of those, it's got that roll-on sort of lollopy V-twin thing, but what's impressive is how smooth it is. Going back to my previous 2 big Adventure KTMs, my 990 and my 1190, this is so much smoother. I mean, you can feel it's a V-twin, it's got a nice little rumble, there's a very slight vibration through the bars, but it's a 1300cc V-twin motorcycle. It is going to vibrate, and if you don't want a vibrating motorcycle, don't buy a V-twin. Let's go and have a get in some countryside, and we'll start to play with it and see how we get on. I've had a couple of minutes ragging this down some country lanes, and I've got to tell you, I was going to give it half hour or so, get used to it, but I'm already used to it. It's such a familiar place to be, but better. Having had my, like I say, 990 and 1190, I'll promise not to keep going on about it, but I think it's a good comparison. It's a good explanation of the evolution of this sort of big V-twin thing. I think one thing that has struck me straight away is how much more refined this new bike is. I've often said things like there's not much point buying a new one and all that sort of stuff. You know, you've already got one, what's the point of buying a new one? Well, things move on, and even though my 990 was sort of 2006 vintage, my 14 plate 1190, sort of 8 years old, this is quite a long way ahead of that 1190 package. The 1190 package was still quite raw, it's quite an aggressive thing. I've got to dispatch this van, sorry mate, and I've come down the near side, I'll have a quick look up the offside. road narrows both sides, might kill it, but let's have a look, see what's going on. Yep, no, I can see a tarmac, I'll have that. So that's when a bike like this just comes into its own. You've just got that effortless overtaking thing into a double bend, roll off. There's not much engine braking. I don't know if I can alter the engine braking or not. Perhaps in sport mode, but I'll try that in a minute. I'll get a bit more engine braking, I don't know. This does tend to roll on a little bit, maybe because it's new, I don't know. But certainly very planted. It's got that anti-dive thing set, so I'm not diving in so much, but just flicking through slow corners feels very neutral. Look, I'm not having to push or pull on the bars. It's a very nice neutral place to be. And if you want to squeeze on, you don't need much revs, 3,500 revs, and it will just sing along lovely. Look, you should back it into that little corner over there, down a quick shifter. Oh yeah, blipper's lovely. Even at 5,000 revs at 30 mile an hour, I'm dropping in there quite nicely. Look at that. The engine braking seems better the lower the revs go. Yeah, that'll do. I better not go mad. 5,000–6,000 RPM will do for now. Showing all that grunt, even at low revs. 3,000, 3,500 revs, sticks the gear, try to drag up from 50 miles an hour. Just right, just beautiful. And these corners are very, very smart. Road surface is lovely. I might have to. KTM's new 1290 Super Adventure S. Like I've gone on about already, probably till you're blue in the face, I've had a 990 Adventure and the 1190R Adventure before, and done 40 odd thousand miles on the 990 and about 16,000 miles on the 1190, so I'm quite familiar with KTM's big V-twin adventure bike genre. And I've got to say, this is an evolution of that very, very early 990. The 990 was very raw, it was powerful enough, it was brilliantly suspended, it handled great, it was like a great big dirt bike. 21-inch front, which I never found was a problem on the road. Other people might have done, but there you go. So where are we now? Well, we're at this 150 plus brake horsepower, 200 plus kilos, 100 and odd knows whatever it is, Newton meters of torque, an absolutely super fast, grunty gentleman's express of a bike. It will take you across continents with ease, in comfort. You can have all the gadgets and bells and whistles that you want to have. All the fluff on this bike is just demonstration of how technology has advanced over the years. Whereas my early 990 had ABS on, ABS off, this has got so much more track mode. It's got all different street, road, comfort, different. I've talked about the IMU. It knows exactly. It probably knows exactly what I'm doing now. You can hear me talking. It's that clever. That aside, what does it ride like? Well, I'll tell you what it rides like. It rides like it wants you to enjoy yourself. It's lightweight, it's flickable, it's quick. It goes like stink, and in any situations, from sort of 3,000 revs upwards, it just romps away. Got this lovely, bubbly, smooth engine. Yeah, you can feel the vibration there. Well, it's a V-twin. Of course, you can feel the vibration, but it's that sort of silky smooth, if you like. It's an encouraging vibration. It's sort of just, you can feel it's doing something, but it's not making you think it's going to crack or break. The engine sounds as sweet as anything. None of the clatter from my old 1190 when I used to get the old valve chain tapping away and the cam chains rattling. None of that. This doesn't do that. This engine is an evolution. It's 3 or 4 stages on from my 1190. And you can feel it. The minute I rode out the shop, I thought, yeah, this is light, quick, smooth as you like. The TFT screen, I'm not a fan of a TFT screen. It's all right, but what it's doing, it's telling you in great big letters how fast you're going, which is the important stuff. How fast you're going, how much fuel you've got, revs and all that sort of thing. But the digits on the bottom, at my age, my eyes are fading a little bit, and I need glasses for reading. And I have trouble without my glasses on to read what it actually says on the bottom. I can see the symbols lit up, I can see it's gone off, and I can go through the modes. The mode switch, the mode digital display is plenty big enough. But the little periphery around the outside, I've still struggled with that. I sometimes wonder, do you need to see them anyway, half the time? I don't know, it's not bothered me, but I just pointed out, it's very fine, small print. Sitting on the bike, what you've got, as I said earlier, you've got this narrow seat. So when we're sat on the machine, we've got both feet flat on the floor, both sides, and I'm 31-inch side leg. This seat is in its, actually I think the seat's in the lower, no, this seat's in the highest setting. So it can go lower than this. You can go about 35, 40 mil lower than this, which is that much. So you can get a little bit more out of it. It's got the beautiful little cubby hole on here for putting your glasses in, very important, and your phone. My glasses and my phone do fit in there, and also inside there is a USB socket. Hallelujah. Someone's put a USB socket in a place you can get to without too much fuss. Switch gear. I was a bit flummoxed by all this switch gear at first. It's it looks complicated, but once you've got the muscle memory going, it looks very complicated, and once you get the muscle memory going, it's okay. Once you learn the basic lefts, rights, ups and downs and sets, I've not really an issue with it. If you've got to know the bike more, if you've got to use it more, this would become quite intuitive, I think. You've also got C1 and C2 over here, which are modes that you can set, preset things you can do yourself, which would be great. So you get on the bike, away you go. I also like the security aspect of the keyless ignition thing. You've got to press the key fob to arm the bike, then you turn it on, then you start it. None of this sort of, you can be in your car or in a cafe, someone can blag the signal. The signal's not emitted until you've pressed the little button, so it's much, much better. And if you do get those bloody yobs in London, try and sort of snaffle the bike, pull up alongside, they can't have the key out, great. And if they go to try and knock you off, you can hit the lock button, kill the bike straight away, and they can't start it because they need to press the fob again to get it going. So they can't just pick it up, press the thing and go. So a good safety feature. This tank, when you're sat on the bike, you don't notice it, but it's huge. Again, here we go, 990. What have they done? They've gone back to the future. They've dropped the fuel low both sides, lowered the centre of gravity. I mean, the bike is better balanced. The old 1290s and the 1190s, the tank's up here, full of fuel, and they've now done that with the 790 and 890. Is they put the fuel tanks low to give you that lower centre of gravity. Air filter. Another bonus with this bike is you can just take out a couple of little screws, lift this pack out, air filter slots straight in. So if you're one of the off-road guys and you've got a bit of dusty, deserty stuff going on, you haven't got a faff about getting the seat off, tank off and all that stuff, just change the air filter. Easy peasy. Bolts, filter out, remote chargeable Dyson straight in there, get all the crap out, put it back in again. What a nice place to be. It's got one of those new bike feels to it. The seat's quite hard. I heard a lot about the new seat being quite firm. To be honest, I don't feel it's that firm. Well, there's a testament to how smooth it is, down to just over 1,000 revs in 4/5 gear, and it was just pulling quite smoothly, so can't complain about that. My fault, sorry bike. What I like about big V twins, you can't get this in any other configuration, no matter how much you talk about it, is that lollopy sort of, almost like bubblegum, bubbly sort of roll on you get from low revs. That sort of, it just rolls on nicely. You haven't got, there's no single, I mean, there's no big thumping single, there's no inline 4 lag waiting for the revs to build up, you know, to sort of 7,000-8,000 revs before it's going to take off. You know, from low revs, 3,000 RPM, 30 mile an hour, it'll just go. You don't need to go click click click, find some power and then rag it. It will just squeeze away nicely. Up the ramp, no thank you. But this is a testing point. Look, 15 miles an hour, just over 1,000 RPM in third gear, and I'm going to whiff the throttle. No coughing, no farting, just smooth drive. No lag, no sort of chain slapping telling me that I've got some, you know, it's just a nice smooth progress, which compared to the earlier V-twins wouldn't have had it. They would have been chunking and slapping at the back of your head, telling you you're in the wrong gear. So that's got to be an improvement. The fueling seems perfect. It's not snatchy at all. One of the earlier criticisms of KTM was that the fueling was snatchy. Oh, hang on, mate, where are you going? What's this, a roadblock? Nice one. As with all quick shifters, you want to give yourself a few revs first before you do it. Below 3,000 RPM, I think you're asking quite a lot of the engine to sort of change gear on a quick shifter. Just imagine the sort of, you got those big cogs in the gearbox all fighting for position. Clutch will just make so much more sense below 3,000 RPM. But obviously when you're on it and you're on a bit of a mission, the clutchless bit like down, blibber, yeah, look at that, smooth as you like. Downshift, smooth as you want, lovely. And then you get all that drive. Oh yes, baby. So tempting to give the bike its head, but like I say, I'm running it in at the moment. I mean, on a really nice A road, this would be an absolute weapon. I mean, yeah, alright, your Panigales and your R1Ms and your Gixxer 1000s and all those things, yeah, ballistically quick for half an hour until you need to go and see the chiropractor. You can ride this hard all day, no question. It's one of those bikes, I think, and KTM, big adventure bikes full stop, to be fair, are very much of that genre. They're very much the gentleman's express, for want of a better word. The people like me, you had your 15-20 years ago, you had your Gixxer 1000s and your sports bikes and your R1s and all that, and your Milli Rs, and you know, but now all that arse up, head down, crick of the neck, bad shoulders, arthritis setting in, Pedro. Do you know what I mean? If you think, well, why is he on all these little narrow roads? It's because a bike like this, when you're riding on big, wide, open, motorway size roads, it's just so tempting to go fast. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to tire myself out riding everywhere stupid and get myself in trouble riding at stupid miles an hour. I like to throw these bikes around little country lanes, national speed limit roads like we're coming up to just now. So yeah, here we go, a bit of commentary coming up, I think. Just get myself warmed up a little bit. Internationals, no vehicles behind me, moving up on the road ahead. You can see a nice bend off to the near offside, come down the near side, roll off on the accelerator, keep that throttle closed, use a blip shifter. Look at that, smooth as you like down a quick shifter. Let's turn on left to Hever Hill. This is quite a nice little road as well. No vehicles behind me, but there might be somebody coming out of there, so I will indicate just to cover that eventuality. Looking into the junction, chalky surface, just take me time, cancel that indicator and have a quick look, or try and cancel the indicator. I've already come off that bend on the offside, so I've opened up that view already. I'm going to hold that view until I can change in. Nice, look at that, all the way down there, double bend sign over the brow of the hill, bend off to the right, slow on the road, could be some wildlife crossing, got chevron boards coming up, I have 2 gears, coming back on the acceleration sense, into the near side and drive out lovely. It lets you know you're changing gear. It's not one of these electric sort of quick shifters where you think, oh, has it gone or has it not got in properly? You know it's got into gear, but it's unintrusive, and I do quite like that. And it just rolls on. 3,000-4,000 RPM is probably all you need to make some really tidy progress on these country lanes. But like I say, if you were to rev this bike once it's got its first service under its belt, and it's not so tight, well, I can see the roads up there, look. I'm going over this brow, have a couple of gears, just tip it in, bit of counter steer on the old bar, look, bit of counter steering, just tip it in nicely, roll off on the throttle, and away we go out the other side. That actually made my stomach churn. Then it bottomed out in that little hollow there, and as it went down, the bike just sucked itself down the tarmac and whoosh up the other side. Brilliant. This is a quick old beast. Right, unless we get to a junction, that van is mine. Let's go and get him. Hold that wide view. Coming down his near side, looking to the off side for the view to sneak through. Can't have it. Look, I see down into a 30 limit. We've got a hazard light thing coming towards me, a tractor or something, so I'll just kill it. Always look where you want to be. Never leave your safe tarmac until you've got some safe tarmac to go to. Top tip there from Uncle Reg. National speed limit's coming up, so I'm already thinking about overtaking this van, but look how narrow it is there. I've got to be careful. So there could be something flying towards me through those double bends it's just pointed out back there, but I'm not going to lose sight of it. Double white lines here all the way around these two corners, so I just got to bear that in mind also. But off this corner, the lines might break in my favour, so I'll have a quick cheeky third. All the grunt I'm going to need. See, the lines have broken in my favour just there. Nothing coming, but I can't go until I've confirmed it. I'm just going to make sure there's nothing in that dip, and I'll have it. That's lovely, look at that, straight through them, off the gas. Oh, beautiful. Oh, what a road. What a superb little road this is. I wish I'd not got that bloody fly splattered on my visor, I could see where I was going. Let's have some more. Don't need to rev it, just ride that torque curve. Look at that, look, having all some of this, son. Have a look at that. Tuck in on the power there, so we'll have a play with the old suspension in a minute. I'm going to come back this way. I'm probably going to jack the back up a little bit, see if it turns sharper. But look at these roads, look at them, look it over there. Here we go, get off the bike. Nice little triumph there, look, nice. Come off that a bit wide there, I should have turned in quicker. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with this. You can move about a bit, although you don't need to. To be honest, you look a bit of a knob hanging off the bloody adventure bike with your knee on the floor, in all fairness. More double bends coming up, chevrons in the middle. So yeah, so I can see where the chevrons are going. Look over there, look at the boards. Set myself in nicely, pick up the drive and just squeeze all the way round. Squeeze it all the way round, squeeze it all the way round. Come wide, get a view into the left-hander. Oh yes, I've had this all day. Down on the other side, open up that view again. Look at this, just swinging through some of the most gorgeous corners. But yeah, beautiful bit of road. You can still see where it's going now, look. I can't see the tarmac, so I can't chop it. Do you get me drift? Yeah, can't see the tarmac. If I can't see it because of these hedgerows, I can't start to drift across, because there might be something coming towards us. You don't want to meet that van coming the other way. Over the brow, a little bit off on the front brake, look at that. Yes, we'll have a bit of this. And into the next foliage. So, what did I find out there? On the power coming in, or as I'm driving around, it's starting to drift. It was like in the left hand, it was starting to drift out wide. So I just checked the throttle a little bit, brought the front back down, and we got a bit more of a stability thing there. So what I'm going to try and do is go into modes, and I'm going to run that road again, and I'm going to jack the back end up a little bit. Yep, I went into neutral all right there.
Right, so bike info, trip info, motorcycle, suspension, auto, three-wheel adjuster, low, high. Oh, I can feel the bike, I can feel it moving.
I can feel that lifting the bike up while I'm riding it. Anti-dives on. I wonder if that's why I was getting a tiny little bit of understeer. It's got to be, because everywhere else it's been absolutely true as you like. So right, let's get out of that, go back to there, and let's run that again. Let's go. Already, instant, the bike feels slight. It does feel slightly higher at the back, which feels really nice. So, I'm not going to go mental, so I can't, but I'm going to just have a look and see what's going on now. Is it better now? Yeah, you see instantly, on the gas coming out of that corner, it just sat in there nicely. It didn't sort of try and wander wide. They're only coming. Once Bikey Boy's gone, get in there, you tart. See, it was like that. He was a left-hander, under power, and it just sort of ran wide. So I'm just going to hold that now. Now, that track's as good as you like now. In fact, because the back's up. It's weird. Let's see if I take that anti-dive off and see what happens there. Much better. My recommendation is try it with the anti-dive off, because then you get much more feedback from the front wheel. I think so anyway. Nice little tight corner coming up. Look, feel that, you can feel it biting, whereas with the anti-dive on, it's almost like it was taking away that sort of language. The front tyre is talking to you, and this suspension is probably some of the best suspension you can get in the world, so it knows what it's doing. So let it do it, don't try and restrict it, let it give you that feedback. Oh, I'm loving this. I knew the biggest mistake I could make coming to ride this bike was actually getting here in the first place, because it's just brilliant. Right, let's see if we can change the old suspendies on the fly. So we've gone to there, gone to there, gone to. I'll tell you what's the difficult thing is actually suspension. Is the suspension. It's doing it. You can't get your finger on the button. Right, street, comfort. Let's go comfort. Quite often you have these bikes change their modes, and to be fair, you can't really tell, can you, to be honest? But this, look, it's so bumpy. You've got that lovely sort of yacht in a channel sort of thing going on. Very nice. I can imagine if you've got a passenger on the back, they'd be grateful of the sort of slightly softer, more luxurious feel of comfort mode on a bumpy surface. Definitely. Anyway, like I say, I've whittled on for far too long. Switch gear. I was a bit flummoxed by all this switch gear at first. It's it looks complicated, but once you've got the muscle memory going, once you learn the basic lefts, rights, ups and downs and sets, I've not really an issue with it. If you've got to know the bike more, if you've got to use it more, this would become quite intuitive, I think. You've also got C1 and C2 over here, which are modes that you can set, preset things you can do yourself, which would be great. So you get on the bike, away you go. Well, there you have it, folks. An absolute joy of a motorbike to ride. So much better than I gave it credit for. I thought it was going to be like the old one, rough, ready. I mean, the old one's brilliant, don't get me wrong, it's absolutely fantastic. It's an awesome bit of kit. My name's Reg. If you like what you've seen, don't forget to subscribe, click that like button. More of this is going to be coming up. I've got the Hayabusa on Friday. I'm test riding the Hayabusa on Friday, so that'll be completely different. So I've gone from the Super Duke car last week, last year the Street Fighters. Trident 660 last week. What an absolute little gem of a bike that was. Videos on my list as well if you want to watch that. It's a very subjective thing. Some people hate the look of the Hayabusa. I think they look quite nice, quite gentlemanly. So anyway, we'll wait and see what that comes out like. But like you say, give me a like, click and subscribe. It really helps the channel. I'm trying to build up subscribers. I'm trying to get a sort of nice platform going. And I've got to say, a big thank you to all the people that have watched the last Triumph Trident video especially. I've had some brilliant comments from them. Lots of advice given and received by myself. I do like to get hints and tips and people that own these bikes already. It's nice to hear what they think. And that, again, that's the beauty of motorcycling. Everyone's different. What I get from this bike, somebody else might get something completely different. And that's what makes biking brilliant. So yeah, please click and subscribe. And if you've got a comment to make, please, you won't offend me if you've got something to say. Thank you very much. Let's crack on, let's get some more done. Oh, I'm glad you waited till we finished talking, mate. Nice. Bye. This one's just had its hair cut, and it's wearing a nice set of clothes, and it's had elocution lessons. It's still as deadly, still as fast, it's still as raucous, but it just does it in that sort of more polite and uniform way. It's yeah, I mean, in comfort setting on these little back roads, it's just lovely. wafting along. You're not getting spat at, kicked at. It's not trying to throw me out of the seat. Little waft off the throttle, look. Whoa. A little bit of the old traction control there. That's nice. Yeah, the old front wheel comes up, slightest whiff of the old throttle. And that's with all the aids on. I mean, if you turn the wheelie control, all that traction control, the wheelie thing off, put it in track mode, oh mate, what a weapon.